And I want to begin with NBC's White House correspondent Monica Alba, who is with us by phone. But Monica, you have this breaking news reporting. What have you learned about this potential Iranian attack against Israel?
Well, Anna, this is coming from a senior White House official and a Department of Defense official who confirm to myself and to our Pentagon correspondent, Courtney Kube, this indication that the United States has, which is typically a reflection of intelligence and information that they have gleaned from other countries who would potentially be affected by this, that Iran is indeed preparing to launch that ballistic missile attack against Israel. Now, to put this into context, this is something that has happened before. It happened earlier this year, as we may remember, and the U.S. was actively involved in helping Israel defend itself that time around. And I'm told by a senior White House official that that is the case in this scenario as well. The U.S. says that they are actively supporting defensive preparations to help defend Israel against this attack. And the U.S. is warning, as they have before and in the past, that a direct military attack from Iran against Israel will, quote, carry severe consequences for Iran. Now, it's important, again, to note that this is something that administration officials had been bracing for. They had been anticipating a response from Iran. We knew that certainly with all of the turmoil in the last couple of weeks that this was something that there was going to be a big moment and of anticipation. And so that should not surprise anybody that this is where this next step could go. The biggest questions now are about when exactly this could happen, and the fact that the United States is trying to get out and say that this could happen imminently is of its own significance, but also U.S. officials have been telling us essentially that the U.S. had not seen any movement of assets or equipment in Iran to indicate that something was going to be happening so quickly, but at the same time, they had warned that Iran, if it wanted to move quickly, could be postured to do so. So we know overall, when it comes to what the president has said many times and his top officials, Iran has signaled to the U.S., at least recently, that it does not want and does not seek a wider war. And certainly when the president has been asked about his own message to Iran in terms of contemplating something like this, normally the president's response is just one word, and it's don't. And that warning will likely be escalated and amplified today. But the fact that the White House and the Pentagon are relaying that this is something that could happen very quickly, it's important to mention that back in April when this occurred, there was a large number of these ballistic missiles that were launched and intercepted. And this was something where essentially when this took place, Israel was able to really claim victory in how well its defense systems operated, as we may remember. And so the question now is whether this will look like that or something different. But those are the early indications from the White House, and we know that the president and his national security team will be monitoring this very closely, as they have been, Anna.